Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and Happy New Year, almost, because it is almost 2019, so it's a new year. I thought I'd try something new that I have never done before and that it took me almost 3 years to decide whether or not I should be doing it at all. So as you probably read from the headline, this is going to be a horoscope, and you know I have not done horoscopes before, or not to the regular types of horoscopes that you would normally read about for your sun sign, but I thought I'd give it a try, and I am waiting to hear for your feedback whether or not you find it interesting at all. So let us begin. Today we are talking about January 2019 and what each zodiac sign can expect from the first month of the year. Now, what I advise you to do is to listen to the part for your sun sign. There will be timestamps in the description box down below, but also listen to the part for your rising sign if you know what your rising sign is. If you don't know what your rising sign is, then you can find out super quickly. There are a ton of online natal chart generators. All you need to do is put in your date, time, and place of birth, and you'll find out what your rising sign is. So you have to listen to two parts of this video. For some people, for most people, I would say the rising sign horoscope is going to be a lot more accurate because it is based on what your natal chart actually looks like. But the sun is also super important, so do listen to both. So without further ado, let us kick in. January 2019, we have got a hell of a month ahead of us, so we don't even have time to recover or catch our breath after the holiday season, because the year kicks off with an eclipse in Capricorn, and then we have another eclipse halfway through the month. So the first eclipse happens on the 5th of January, and it is in Capricorn, and it is a solar eclipse, and solar eclipses bring new beginnings. And then we have another eclipse, but this time a lunar one, in Leo on the 21st of January. Now, let's talk about what January brings for Aries. My dear Aries, so on the 5th of January, you have an eclipse in your 10th house of career. You might find yourself in a new job, or you might find yourself being offered a new job, a new position. I would say that this position is likely to increase your reputation and your public status. Or if you are not being offered a new position, you might be promoted within your current company. In any case, the spotlight at the very beginning of January is on the most public house in your natal chart, the 10th house, which is the house of honors, the house of career, the house of our professional pathway. It is also the house of our bosses and figures of authority in our life. So you might also find yourself having a new boss from the 5th of January onwards. It is very commonplace with eclipses to eclipse someone out of our lives to make room for something else or someone new. So like I said, you might have a new boss altogether. You might yourself become the boss, but the spotlight is on your professional life. And let me just say, eclipses, usually people are quite scared of them because they bring in wild cards. So they bring in circumstances that we have not predicted, that we are not familiar with, and they just ruffle feathers and they just turn our life upside down. But this eclipse is actually beautifully aspected by Neptune in Pisces. Neptune is the planet of dreams and ideals, and when it's touching a particular cluster of planets, in this case the sun and the moon in your 10th house, it might feel like a dream of yours is coming true, and it might seem too good to be true, but it actually is that good. So believe it, trust it. Now, you've also got an eclipse on the 21st of January, and this eclipse is a lunar one in Leo. Leo for you, my dear Aries, covers the 5th house, the house of true love, of children, of creativity, of fun. Lunar eclipses usually bring things to an end, to a completion, and it might feel like there is a phase closing in your life in that particular area for now. So a chapter is ending to make room for a new chapter altogether. Now, for those of you who are involved in a romantic relationship and you are not yet married, or you have not yet made a commitment to your partner, it could mean that a certain relationship might be coming to an end. But it could also mean that a certain phase in your love life is coming to an end to make room for a new one. Be careful, because eclipses can eclipse people out of your lives, so expect the unexpected, as they say. Uranus is in a tense aspect with this eclipse. And it is very likely that the news that you hear, or that the ending that is unfolding before your eyes, is completely out of the blue, completely unexpected, and it does turn your life upside down. You had not planned for it. You don't necessarily like it, but you have to move on, because there's nothing you can do. Just go with the flow. Now, if you are a Taurus, my dear Taurians, in January, what do we have for you? We have an eclipse on the 5th of January, again in Capricorn, that I've mentioned already. It falls in your 9th house. What is the 9th house? The 9th house is the house of long distance travel, higher education, society, beliefs, the higher mind, and our broader perspective upon life, and what it is that we believe in. So what is our system of reference? What is our religious or philosophical or political inclination? Brace yourselves, Taurians, because you are in for a new beginning. Education related, so it can very much be education related if you are looking to go back to university or take on new classes or courses. This is the absolute best time to do so. So you have the beginning of the year to focus on these things, and you might receive unexpected support, if I may say so, from friends and from your community and from the group of people that you are a part of. It might feel like you've got a lot more support than you've ever had, and everyone's got your back. So jump in. I know it's not like you to jump into things, my dear Taurus, but this time do jump in, because things are gonna be really good. This is also a great time, this year in particular, because eclipses impact us for months to come. I would say at least the next 6 months to come. You might find yourself traveling a lot more than you've traveled in ages, in years, and you might find yourself exposed to new cultures, new people, foreigners, foreign ways of thinking. Just take it all in. This is a time to broaden your mind, broaden your horizons, and embrace it all. And don't take it slow. Please don't take it slow. Throw yourself in it. Now, you've also got an eclipse on the 21st of January, a lunar eclipse happening in Leo in your 4th house. The 4th house is one of the 3 karmic houses in astrology. It is the house of family. It is also the house of our roots. It is the house of our childhood, and the house of the home that we live in. And any real estate, any residential property that we might have. Now, lunar eclipses usually bring a completion, and it might be that towards the end of the month, give or take 10 days, you might move houses. You might move houses again, and you might move houses for good for the foreseeable future. A chapter is ending regarding your residence, regarding the place that you live in, regarding possibly the country that you live in, regarding possibly the city that you have been living in. You might move on, And it is very likely that you will move on because things are coming to a close in this particular area of your chart. It might also feel like you're ending a chapter that is family related. For some people, let's say someone who is married or someone who has children. If you're married, it might feel like you are either breaking up with your natural family, so the family that you grew up in order to move out with your spouse. You might also be in a position where, let's say, the marriage that you're in and the living situation and the housing situation that you've created for you and your partner is no longer working, and it is coming to a close. And this might have been looming in the background for quite some time now. But more than anything, it is the beginning of a new chapter. It might be that you've been looking after a parent for a long time and you no longer will need to look after that parent. It is time to move on. So whatever happens 10 days before or 10 days after the 21st of January, pay attention to it, because there is an ending looming on the horizon, but there is also a new beginning waiting for you. So be ready for it. Now, we've also got Mars entering your 12th house in January, on the 1st of January, my dear Taurus. And I have to say, your energy levels might not be as high as they usually are. It is a time to take it easy physically, but not mentally. Mentally, throw yourself in, put yourself out there. Physically, look after yourself and make sure you eat properly, you rest properly. You might need some time to isolate yourself from the world. And once Mars is out of Aries and into your first house in February, so into Taurus, your levels of physical energy are going to be enough to do all the things that lie ahead of you. Now, if you are a Gemini, what does January 2019 have in store for you? So you've got, on the 5th of January, an eclipse in Capricorn in your 8th house. It is a solar eclipse. It is a new beginning in 8th house related matters. And what can you expect from it? Well, for one thing, expect the unexpected, because hey, it is an eclipse and it throws in wild cards, as I've said previously. The 8th house is the house of other people's resources, investments from the outside, other people's money, shared resources, insurance, inheritances. It is also the house of our fears and what we keep hidden, and the skeletons in our closet, and the things that we are afraid to acknowledge. We are conscious of them, but we are afraid to acknowledge them in front of the world, because they're just going to show that the fact that we are all beasts, we are all animals, we are creatures. And it's also the house of sex, so it's an interesting house, if I may say so. It's also the house of crisis. Beautiful. Now, what can you expect from this eclipse, my dear Gemini? We've got a beautiful aspect formed by Neptune, which is in Pisces, and it is aspecting the eclipse, and it's going to be the stuff of dreams, if I may say so. So Neptune is in your 10th house of career, and the eclipse is happening in your house of other people's money. You might receive a down payment from work, or you might finally have the courage to assert who you are and what you stand up for, and put yourself out there, and you're going to be rewarded. And it's likely that you might be rewarded with a lump sum of money. Now, it is also very possible, if I may say so, that the next 6 months are going to turn into a bit of a sexual renewal phase. you might feel like you've reached a point where anything can happen, and it can be scary, but it can also feel incredibly empowering. It might feel like you finally get out of some sort of rut that you were stuck in. Now, needless to say, because the 8th house is also the house of other people's money, if you were waiting for investment from other people, if you were waiting for an inheritance, if you were waiting for insurance, if you were waiting to ask investors, other people for money, or like the bank to ask them for money to invest in your own business, or to get a house, to get a mortgage, to invest in your own home, or to invest in your career, then this is the time. So the beginning of the year is the time to ask for the resources, because you're very likely to get it. And it's gonna blow your mind, and it's gonna take you aback, and it is not too good to be true. It is actually going to be true. Now, you've also got a lunar eclipse in your 3rd house on the 21st of January. So these are the two key dates, if I may say so, in January. Now, this eclipse is falling in your 3rd house of communication and of siblings and of short distance travel. It is also the house of sales. It might feel like if you were going through a period of time in the past months when you were running around from one place to the other, and you had so many things to do, and your to-do list was so full, and there was a lot of networking and a lot of socializing to do. It might feel like that phase has come to an end. You might come out of it a new person, someone better prepared to create connections, someone better prepared to express themselves and to communicate their thoughts. And also, last but not least, it is very possible that you might hear news from a sibling around this time. So, I don't know. You tell me what the eclipse has been like for you. Now, whatever it is that you hear, Uranus is in a hard aspect with the eclipse, so it's likely going to prompt some action from your part, something that you are not prepared to do, or it's likely that it will require your involvement. The news that you hear from a sibling, or from your cousins potentially, or from your community, but like the neighborhood, the community that you grew up in. Last but not least, we also have Mars entering Aries on the 1st of January, and it's gonna be in Aries throughout the rest of the month. Now, Aries is your 11th house of friendships, goals, groups of people that you are a part of and that you share common ideals with. With Mars transiting this house, it might feel like your social life and your close friends are going to be quite demanding from you. This is also a time to express your opinions in your group of friends, and it is also a time to take the lead in your group of friends and in the groups that you are a part of, because they will expect you to lead. They will expect you to take initiative, and the results are actually going to be pleasantly surprising. This is a time to make plans with friends, plan trips, plan activities, plan outings. And if you are involved in any sort of like activist activity, I should think of better words. I should learn more words, guys. Sorry about that. If you are an activist at heart, and if you do promote some sort of change for the better, then January is the best time to put yourself out there and push for the things that you believe in. Now, if you are a Cancer, then we've got on the 5th of January an eclipse, a solar eclipse in Capricorn, in your 7th house of marriage and committed partnerships and business partnerships. It is a new beginning, marriage related, partnership related, contracts related, because the 7th house is also the house of contracts. Now, this is again the stuff of dreams, because we've got Neptune aspecting the solar eclipse beautifully from your ninth house of long distance travel and higher education. It might be the best time that you have to make plans to travel abroad with your significant other. It might feel like you are more aligned than ever when it comes to higher mind, perspective upon life, the big picture, and what it is that you want to do with your life together. It might feel that you are completely aligned and work in conjunction and complementarity. It is also a new beginning in your life as a couple. If you are not coupled up, let me just tell you this. I cannot stress enough, my dear Cancer, how likely it is that you are going to meet someone who will turn into a long-term partner, because these are the things that happen during eclipse season. People come out of nowhere into our lives, they sweep us off our feet, and next thing you know, you're gonna be planning your wedding. But take it easy. I mean, I know you're gonna take it easy because you're a Cancer after all, a Cancer sun, we're a Cancer rising. Same, I'm a Cancer rising. I know what it's like, but this is the perfect time to go out there, put yourself out there, go to parties, go to social outings, go to gatherings, enter society, and you're very likely to form a partnership with a person that is gonna come out the woodworks and just sweep you off your feet. Business partnerships are also very well aspected. So if you've been waiting for a while to set up one and trying to weigh the pros and the cons, the 5th of January is the day to make your decision. Now, there is a lunar eclipse in Leo on the 21st of January. This falls into your second house, the second house of earned income, values, the money that you make. It is a cycle of completion because lunar eclipses bring things to a close. So it might feel like a stream of revenue is being shut in your life, but usually that is to make room for a new stream of revenue. So no matter what happens, money related, if you have like an unexpected expenditure, go with it, go with the flow. Don't try to fight the eclipse energy, because you're only gonna make things worse for yourself. So let it go. All things happen in order to teach us something, and choose to move forward and look for the opportunity that the end of this phase brings into your life, rather than sulking in a corner like Cancerians sometimes do, including myself. Now, if you are a Leo in January 2019, you have a solar eclipse in Capricorn in your 6th house of day-to-day work and health. So this is the perfect time, my dear Leo, to start a new job. If you're a Leo sun or a Leo rising, it is the perfect time to apply for new jobs. It is the perfect time to put yourself out there on the market. If there are chances for you to get a promotion, do push for it and do ask for it and do ask for that raise, because this eclipse is likely going to bring you more responsibility, but also a new beginning when it comes to day-to-day work. Now, we also have a lunar eclipse in Leo on the 21st of January, and a word of caution, this falls into your 1st house of physical body and personality, and you might feel very weakened. When we have eclipses falling into our own sign, we might feel like our energy levels are low, like we are being sapped of energy. Health conditions might flare up. Don't try to exert yourself too much. Don't exhaust yourself. Drink plenty of water. Rest. And take it easy for a few days before and after the eclipse if possible. Also be very careful not to hurt yourself, because like physically hurt yourself. So drive safely, don't use very sharp tools, or be careful how you use electricity, because we've got Uranus involved, and Uranus is the planet of electricity, and Uranus is also usually involved in accidents, and we do not want you involved in any accidents. Now, we also have Mars in Aries in the first month of January. Now, where does that fall for you, my dear Leo, and what does that mean? Mars energizes whatever area of the chart it touches. So for you, it is going to fall into So Mars is going to energize your house of going out. So the house that has to do with society. And it is also a good time, provided you look after yourself and you take care of yourself. This is also a good time to start a new health routine, my dear Leos, because you have the support of the solar eclipse in Capricorn, and you might also have like some sort of acute condition flaring up, and like a red flag, health related, body related, which prompts you to start fresh. So please start fresh. So if you are a Virgo, my dear Virgos, January is going to be quite interesting for you. Why do I say that? Because you have, on the 5th of January, a solar eclipse in Capricorn in your 5th house. The 5th house is the house of true love, of romance, of fun, of children and creativity. And it is also a house of entertainment. If you are not romantically involved with someone, it is very possible that you are going to meet someone around the 5th of January, give or take 10 days, and they are going to have a romantically positive impact upon your life for at least the next 6 months. It is also a fantastic time to focus on what brings you pleasure, to focus on how you can better express your creativity. And it is the perfect time, if you've been working on something creative on the side, it is the perfect time to either kick off that project if you haven't kicked it off yet, or if you have and you've been plodding along trying to make it perfect like Virgos do, then this is the time to stop work on it and present it to the world. So don't be afraid to put it out there. Now, the 21st of January brings another eclipse, this time in your 12th house. It is a lunar eclipse, so it usually brings an end, it brings a completion into your life. The 12th house is the house of self-undoing. It is the house of institutions. It is the house of where we feel helpless. It is also the house of spirituality and dreams and past lives. It is the house where we tend to isolate ourselves. And you might feel like there is a part of you that you will have to sacrifice in order to move forward. There might be a part of you deep down inside that you are holding on to, that you're very reluctant to let go, that you finally have to let go, and you will somehow be, I don't want to say forced, but you might somehow be forced to do it, and forced to let go of something that was bringing you comfort secretly. Now, what else do we have here? We have Mars going into Aries. Aries is, my dear Virgo, for you, the 8th house of other people's money, sex, death and rebirth, psychology, occult, and crisis. If you are a Libra, then January 2019 has again 2 eclipses for you. On the 5th of January, my dear Libras, a Libra Sun and Libra Rising, you have an eclipse in your 4th house of home and family and the place that you live in. Actually, this eclipse is going to touch the 4th and the 10th house axis. So you might finally, if you were looking to buy a house, or if you were looking to move house, or if you were looking to set up your own family, I don't know, maybe have a baby or adopt or move into your dream home, then the 5th of January eclipse is actually going to bring really good news, and it might be the stuff of dreams. It might be something that you didn't actually dare to think of, and it might be a lot better than you've ever thought. It is a fantastic time to move house. It is a fantastic time to buy a house. You might hear really good news from your own family, very positive news, and you might feel very much at home and happy in your home environment and surroundings. Now, on the 21st of January, we have a lunar eclipse in Leo. Now, that for you, my dear Libra, falls in the 11th house. Lunar eclipses usually bring completions, they bring endings. They represent the end of a phase, the pinnacle of a phase, and things only go down from there. Because we have Uranus involved, also, this lunar eclipse falls into your 11th house of friendships and friends and goals and objectives. It might feel like a friend is being eclipsed out of your life, or you might decide that they are no longer the friend that you thought them to be, or they no longer play a role in your life. They might decide to disappear out of the blue, but fret not. Even if you might be disappointed of what this friend decides to do, even if you might be disappointed with the group of friends that you were a part of, this only makes room for something new. Last but not least, in January, from the 1st of January, for the rest of the month, you have Mars moving through your 7th house of partnership and marriage and committed relationships and business partnerships. This is a good time to channel that passion that you have deep down inside of you in your relationship. But please do not argue with your significant other, because everyone might have like a bit of a short fuse, and you might feel like people are out there to get you, and they're seeking to start out arguments out of the blue. Do not fall into that trap. It is a very good time to work on your relationship with your significant other, spend time together, and can I just say, have sex. That is the best way that you can channel this type of energy. Now, if you are a Scorpio, my dear Scorpios, in January, on the 5th of January, there is a solar eclipse in your 3rd house of communication and learning and networking, and it receives a fantastic aspect from Neptune, which is placed in your 5th house of true love, creativity, and children. Can I just say, it is a good time to go out there, network, meet people, and you might meet your soulmate, or a person that is going to stir up those romantic flames inside of you. You might hear very good news, because the 3rd house is also the house of news. Or you might hear from someone who you used to know back in the day, maybe a colleague from primary school, maybe someone that you grew up with, and it is very likely to turn into a romance. Let me just put it out there. Now, on the 21st of January, my dear Scorpio, you have an eclipse happening in your 10th house. It's a solar eclipse. It's a lunar eclipse. The first eclipse was a lot friendlier, and it was a solar eclipse, and it was a new beginning. Lunar eclipses usually bring endings with them. They bring about the completion of a phase. Eclipses are quite unpredictable. You never know what to expect from them. And this eclipse is actually also aspected by Uranus, which is the planet of the unpredictable. It's the planet of revolutions. It's the planet that sweeps us off our feet. And you're a fixed sign, so you don't necessarily enjoy change all of a sudden out of the blue. Your boss might decide to leave the company. Things might change at the very top, so in positions of power. You might have a clash with someone in an authority position, and you might feel like they are your open adversaries. Or you might decide that this is it. This is the end of the career that you've built up until now, and it is time for a career change. You might have not been 100% prepared for it, because Uranus likes to act like that, and add to that the power of eclipses. So it might come as a bit of a shock to you, whatever it is that's happening. I don't know, you might decide to leave your job. You might be forced to leave your job. You might be made to leave your job altogether. However, always keep in mind that an ending brings about a new beginning, or makes room for a new beginning. And it's basically the universe giving us a good old kick in the butt and telling us, move on. Now, if you are a Sagittarius, my dear Sagittarians, on the 5th of January, you have a solar eclipse in Capricorn in your second house of earned income and money, and the house of value. So what does that mean? Please welcome with open arms a new stream of revenue in your life. This will open up the pathway for you to build a long-term financial security, and it will be something that you might have dreamt about, or didn't even dare to dream about, but you're gonna love it. It's gonna be so good that you're going to enjoy every single minute of it. Very well aspected, this eclipse. Money's coming your way. You heard it here first. Brace yourselves. Now, on the 21st of January, my dear Sagittarians, you have a lunar eclipse, which signifies usually the end of a phase, a completion, an ending in your 9th house of long distance travel, higher education. You might finish school. You might not be allowed to finish school if you were in school, if you were in education. It might feel like the universe is trying to push you out of your comfort zone when it comes to higher education. It might also feel like the things that you believed in and your system of reference no longer serve you. You might have some sort of like disenchantment, and your faith or your philosophy of life no longer stands. They are no longer relevant, and they do not serve you anymore, which I know it can be daunting, to say the least. But what you need to understand is it always makes room for something new. You are, after all, the knowledge seeker. You are, after all, the truth seeker. And if what you believe to be your truth is no longer something that serves you in the long run, then you have to make room for something new. Now, throughout January, you have Mars transiting your 5th house of fun and romance. So for the entire month, you might be quite busy with social outings, with the romantic affairs, and with partying and embarking upon new adventures. So why not? It might also be the case that you are not going to be able to travel for a bit, because the 9th house is also the house of long distance travel. And to a Sagittarius, that can turn into quite the disaster, but fret not. The universe has something new to bring into your life, so it has to make room, time, space for you to deal with it. Now, if you are a Capricorn, my dear Capricorns, on the 5th of January, you have a solar eclipse in your 1st house. Can I just say, you're going to be the new year, new me person. So you're going to be that guy. The past few years have not been easy on you, ever since you've got like Pluto transiting Capricorn. Now we've got Saturn transiting Capricorn till 2020, till the end of 2020. It might have felt like the world was on your shoulders and everyone had incredibly high expectations of you. They were pushing you, they were putting you in a corner, they were demanding things from you, and it's been hard on you. it's been really hard on you. Now, this eclipse is going to bring you a new lease of life. You're going to look in the mirror and be content with who you are, and be proud of who you have become throughout the years. The struggle is not over yet. It's not there yet, but it's getting there. It's likely going to enthuse you, and it's going to bring a sense of satisfaction into your mind, into your spirit, into your soul, and you're gonna be quite proud of how the world sees you now. You've almost made it. So you've almost dealt with everything that the universe has thrown at you for the past almost 10 years. But it's been especially hard since Saturn entered Capricorn this year. Hang on in there, because you're turning into something really, really good that you've almost dreamt of becoming, but you were never sure that you could be that person. Now, on the 21st of January, there is an eclipse in your 8th house. Lunar eclipses, like the one on the 21st of January, usually bring endings and completions. And this lunar eclipse might actually take some money from you. It might take some resources from you. If you're waiting for investment from someone, it might not pan out. The 8th house is also the house of crisis, so you might be faced with your deepest, darkest fears out of the blue completely. You're not out of the woodworks just yet. My advice is to, as much as possible, go with the proverbial flow, because you are receiving unexpected help from Jupiter in your 12th house, transiting your 12th house. It's like the guardian angel there to save you. And you've also got friends that you can very much count on. But more than friends, I would say, you've got your family to count on. It will be like your family is gonna be there to save you through this crisis. Again, this crisis might be very material in nature, so prepare yourself for that. Prepare yourself for an unexpected expenditure. There's not that much you can do, is it? If the universe throws it at us, then welcome all the help that you can get from outside. Now, if you are an Aquarius, my dear Aquarians, on the 5th of January, we have a solar eclipse in Capricorn in our 12th house, because I'm an Aquarius as well. This is a time to retreat from the world. So the first week of January, and possibly even the second, if your work allows it, if your lifestyle allows it, this is a time to not embed yourself in groups of people. This is a time to spend quality time with yourself. Look inside, connect with your spirit, recharge your batteries, isolate yourself, relax, chill, because you've got a very busy year ahead of you, my dear Aquarius. It's also a good time to meditate. It's a good time for spiritual work. It is a good time to get in touch with the inner child. It is a good time to assess your emotions, and it's a good time to reflect upon how you can be of service to the world. Aquarius and Pisces, they are the two signs that are driven by transpersonal, people-focused concerns. So whilst all the other signs are focused on how to better themselves, as sun signs in particular, so that is their hero journey, they've still got work to do on themselves. Aquarius has work to do for the world. And this is a time to assess what you can do for the world, and how you can be of service to other people, and how you can channel that brilliant mind of yours into the world. Now, on the 21st of January, there is the last of the eclipses on the Leo Aquarius axis happening. This is a lunar eclipse in your 7th house of marriage and committed partnerships, and also business partnerships. A business partnership might dissolve. A life partner might disappear from your life. It might be eclipsed from your life, or I don't want to be too dramatic, but I know you Aquarians can take the bluntness. It might feel like your current relationship or your marriage is coming to the end of a phase. It is like the circle is complete. it might feel a little bit daunting, if I may say so. You might be offered a new job. There might be a change in status, a change in career that can have an impact upon your relationship. I would say, well, obviously, it is up to you to decide what it is that you are going to do. But I would say, do take the job, do take the promotion that is going to be offered to you. And January is actually a really good month after the eclipse to focus on your ascension to the top, because you've got Mars entering Aries. Aries is the house of communication for you. It is a house that, it's not the actual house of communication, but it is a house focused on communication and intellectual affairs. You are going to feel much more at ease surrounded by people after the eclipse on the 5th of January. You are going to feel like you are attracting your kind, you are attracting your tribe, and it's going to empower you. So do what you wish with that information. Now, my dear Pisces, on the 5th of January, you have an eclipse happening in your 11th house of dreams and goals and objectives and friendships. So this is the perfect time to manifest your objectives for the new year. Dream big. You are, after all, the most imaginative sign of the zodiac, and I say that because you can tap into the collective unconscious, and your imagination knows no bounds. After all, you are ruled by Neptune. Your planetary ruler, Neptune, actually is going to form a beautiful aspect with the solar eclipse in Capricorn. This is the time to forge new friendships. It is a time to try to manifest new dreams, new goals, new objectives, and you're going to be pleasantly surprised to find that the means to follow those objectives and turn them into reality are laid out in front of you, and they are likely to materialize should you jump at the opportunity a lot quicker than you've ever imagined. Now, there is also a lunar eclipse in Leo happening on the 21st of January in your 6th house. Well, the 6th house is the house of day-to-day work and health and well-being. And lunar eclipses usually bring an end, and they can eclipse people out of our lives, and they represent the completion of a phase. You might decide to quit your current job. You might be pushed to quit your current job. You might be even made redundant. Fret not. This is the best time to look for a new job. This is the best time to move on, because eclipses are the universe's way of pushing us forward and giving us the impetus and the initiative needed to get out of a rut, because it usually means that we were stuck somewhere. You've got Mars transiting your 2nd house of earned income for the rest of the month, so for the entire month of January. It's a brilliant time to look out for new streams of revenue. It's a brilliant time to look for a new job. Things at your job might actually escalate, and you might be faced with various types of crises that you never predicted. You never thought it would get to that point. If you needed a push to look for something new, to look for new horizons, for new pastures, as they say, this is it. This is your time. From 21st of January onwards, I mean, I'm a Capricorn moon, so I would advise you to start looking for something before that. You don't want to reach the actual crisis, and you don't want it to hit you in the face. You want to be as well prepared as possible. There might be wild cards, there might be unexpected elements thrown in the mix, but focus on the money this month, and focus on making your dreams a reality. So, my lovelies, I'm hoping you have enjoyed the very first horoscope from Written in the Stars by Rux. If you haven't yet subscribed, don't forget to do so. If you have any questions about January 2019, Do leave them in the comments below and let me know if you want me to do this whole horoscope thing, all right? Thank you for watching, guys. I shall speak to you soon. Bye.